Hello guys, my name is Allan, architect and creator of Archfiction. Today we start a new series on the channel where I analyze the architecture inside fictional stories. I've been studying architecture for almost 10 years now, so I hope I can provide you some valuable information on the matter. So to kick off this series, we're gonna talk about the water nation in Avatar The Last Airbender. We're gonna focus this analysis on two main cities. First, the Southern Water Tribe, and second, the Northern Water Capital. So let's get started. So, on the Last Airbender time, the Southern Water Nation was almost entirely decimated by the Fire Nation. The only tribe that survived was the one where Sokka and Katara live, and that's the one we're gonna review today. This tribe has a small size and population. Its economy is entirely dependent on the ocean. They lack arable land and mineral resources, so their main activities are hunting and fishing to provide them with food, clothing, and even construction materials. So let's take a look to the tribe's site plan. Here we can notice three main points. First, the exterior walls, which is made entirely of ice, and its main functionality is to protect the tribe against wild animals and even attacks from other people. Second, we have the tents. They are made out of humble materials, and their main functionality is to provide basic protection against the weather. In this case, they are made out of skin from seals, and they are meant for common people to live. Third, we have the big igloo. It hosts the main features of the tribe as the ruling center, and it hosts the chiefs and leaders. All important decisions of the tribe are surely made inside that igloo. We can see along history that the political center of a city also needs to make a statement to show their force and richness. And even on this tribe, a small tribe, we can see that kind of statement being made by the big igloo being surely stronger than the other buildings. It represents the political side of the tribe. Now, have you noticed how the predominant shape on this tribe is the circle? You see, nature doesn't produce perfect square angles. Nature is all about easy fluid lines. It's about the golden proportion or the golden ratio, and sinuous lines and circular lines. The square angles and the rational lines and very linear lines are a human trait. So it's very much credible that this format was chosen here to represent a tribe that isn't as much developed and lives in harmony with their surroundings, and they hunt and they gather for subsistence. Kind to illustrate more of a primitive tribe rather than a developed nation that haven't had many human intervention, and for that's more natural. Now, we see something very different on the Northern Water Capital. They are more rich and developed than the Southern Water Tribe and has a very much larger population. It is also dependent on the ocean, but as they are more developed and have different technologies, they can travel to other lands and import food, clothing, and construction materials, which leads them to be more developed society, and it is also shown on their architecture. So, to understand how the Northern Water Capital became such a force, let's first take a look at their site and location. So this city was built carved inside the icy landscape. Huge walls of ice grows from both sides and from the back of the city, and above those walls there's a harsh weather frozen tundra, which is a almost unbearable weather, making it almost impossible for the city to be attacked from the sides or from behind. So, as we see in history, the capital of any nation is where the political force of the nation is located. So, being the capital of the water nation, this city represents all the nation's power. So capital cities always tend to be the more protected city or space of a nation. So this strategic placement of the city is probably what kept the capital alive during the 100 Years' War against the Fire Nation. So that leaves the front facade as the only reachable side of the city in case of any attack or invasion from other nations. And in that way they can focus their defenses on only one side and make it even stronger. So they've built a massive icy wall with a gate that can only be opened by water bending. Also, another interesting thing we can notice here is that if an enemy can get through those defenses, they will have to cross 3 stages before they get to the capital's palace. So first we have the Great Wall, then we have a defensive area where the military and soldiers can protect the city. Then we have the common people area with their houses, and only after that, on the back of the city, we reach the main palace, which is the political force of this nation. So the palace here is the most important place to protect. Now let's take a look to its architecture itself. This city is made almost entirely out of ice. They have canals throughout the whole city, resembling the Italian city of Venice. People go around on boats and all that very romantic vibe. Another interesting feature here is the water sluice. It's more of a engineering feature where a boat stops on kind of a water elevator, and they can reach different levels through water by floating this space and making the boats go up or down, which shows how developed on engineering this tribe can be. Now, the Water Nation emblem is composed of a ocean and the moon. The ocean part is very obvious now on their cities, right? But I'm gonna show you that the moon is also very present through shapes and symbolism. So let me show you the moon gate. This symbol is based on the Chinese culture, and it represents the moon and the connection with the spiritual side, which is also a very important trait on the water culture. So this symbol can be seen on the doors of buildings and also as the windows of the main palace. Talking about the main palace, it was also inspired by Chinese architecture. It resembles a pagoda, a kind of temple used by Buddhists, and that can be recognized by the multiple layers eaves. Now, to tie things even more together, remember when I said about the importance of their circular shape? Well, it can be seen here as well, from the sloping roofs to the arched bridges that forms the stages of the moon, to the moon gates. The circle element is always present here too. In Chinese culture, the roundness of the moon represents family and reunion. There are also values from the water tribe, and that is also shown on a symbol that I'm pretty sure you have already saw, the yin yang, opposite forces that balance each other, like the moon and the ocean. So there you have it. We can see how those very different tribes, one more developed and one more primitive, can both in their own way represent the values and the aesthetic of the water nation on a singular but complementary way. So tell me down below if I have left anything out of this review, and you can also leave me suggestions down below of other cities you want me to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you liked, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and also consider sharing to some friends so we can bring more valuable information as this every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.